if we go back before the 1950s, the most accurate and reliable timekeeper we had was actually the planet Earth and Earth's rotational speed. Um, so, on average, every day, Earth is making one rotation with respect to the sun in 24 hours or 86,400 seconds. That's give or take a millisecond. Um, the problem is that those little millisecond differences, they add up, and eventually Earth's rotation starts to get out of sync with our clocks and our watches, and that's where leap seconds come in.
Welcome back to EarthSky. That was Graham Jones of the great website timeanddate.com. He and I just had a really interesting conversation about Earth's official timekeeping. Since the 1950s, time on Earth has been tracked by ultra precise atomic clocks. And meanwhile, you might know that over the long span of time, Earth's spin was slowing down by just milliseconds each year, causing the moon to drift a tiny bit farther away each year. So, in recent decades, leap seconds have been added in order to keep our clocks and watches in sync with Earth's slowing rotation. We had a couple of dozen leap seconds added in the 44 years between 1972 and 2016. They were added just before midnight on either New Year's Eve, December 31st, or June 30th. But in the 9 years since 2016, we've had no leap seconds. And it's not because of some human intervention, it's because Earth has minutely and somewhat mysteriously sped up. Here's timeanddate.com's Graham Jones.
Current system of leap seconds was officially put into place at the beginning of 1972. And since then, in total, we've had 27 leap seconds added so far.
It's like a lot.
Right. Well, I mean, it is. There is an interesting thing to how they've been distributed throughout that time. So if we take the very first year of the new system in 1972, in that year there were 2 leap seconds added. There was one on June 30th and again on December 31st. And in the first 45 years up until the end of 2016, that's when we had these 27 leap seconds added. So it's kind of an average of once every 20 months or so. The interesting thing is that the last leap second to be added was on December 31st, 2016. And since then, we haven't had any leap seconds at all. We're coming up for 9 years now as a period without any leap seconds.
And why is that?
Yeah, so this is really where we kind of connect to the discussion we had a few weeks ago, Debbie, about Earth's rotational speed. So in recent years, Earth's rotational speed has unexpectedly increased. So normally, Earth's rotational speed is decreasing. Normally, Earth takes a little bit longer than 86,400 seconds on average to complete one rotation. In the past few years, Earth has actually been completing one rotation in a fraction less than 86,400 seconds. Now, there is probably just one thing we should maybe just clarify on this, because we did actually get some really good questions after our last discussion. When we talk about 86,400 seconds, we're talking there about the average time it takes Earth to make one spin on its axis with respect to the sun. But this is just an average number. And in the past few years, Earth has a mean solar day, means that Earth has been rotating in a fraction under 24 hours. So this means that our clocks and watches, instead of getting ahead of Earth's rotation, our clocks and watches are now actually starting to fall behind the Earth a little bit.
But the result of it with respect to leap seconds is that we've had fewer since, what did you say, 2016?
Yeah, so the end of 2016 was the last leap second we had. And that's really around the time that the Earth began accelerating. So we didn't have this slowing down over the past few years. The Earth has actually been getting ahead of our clocks, so it hasn't been necessary to add a second to our clocks or our watches in order to let the Earth catch up. In fact, the direction that things have moved in recent years has been more towards a negative leap second. The rules to do with when leap seconds are added or taken away from civil time, it's all to do with trying to keep civil time, which is really measured by UTC, keeping civil time within 1 second of solar time. That's time based on Earth's rotational speed that uses a time scale called UT1. And the idea with leap seconds is to keep these two time scales within 1 second of each other, one based on essentially atomic time, which never varies, and the other one based on solar time, which is related to how quickly the Earth is rotating.
And so, so from the early 1950s, when atomic clocks came into use, until 2016, we had 27 positive leap seconds, correct? Did we have any negative leap seconds in that period?
Right. So we've never had a negative leap second in the time since So again, the current system of leap seconds was introduced in 1972.
72. Sorry.
Yeah, and in that period, we've had no negative leap seconds. We were not really expecting to have negative leap seconds because we do know that in the long run, Earth's rotation is slowing, and normally Earth should be taking a bit longer than 24 hours to complete one rotation. So in a way, negative leap seconds, they were always allowed for in the rules, but they were never really considered to be something that might actually happen. The speeding up that we've seen in the last few years of Earth's rotation has been unexpected.
What's so interesting about it, when we talked a couple of weeks ago about why Earth is suddenly speeding up, is it was all the reasons were very, they were all natural reasons, because they were just things that happen in nature ordinarily. Just tell us quickly about why Earth has been speeding up in the past few years, if you can.
Yeah, sure. So the things that the main things that affect Earth's rotational speed, one reason is the moon, and whether the moon is over the equator or whether it's further over the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. That produces kind of monthly cycles in Earth's rotational speed. But there are other things that affect Earth's rotational speed, and that's more to do with all the very complex motions that are going on in Earth's atmosphere and the oceans, and also within Earth's core. And those movements are a lot more difficult to predict. And that's really where the uncertainty comes in when we try to predict what's going to happen to Earth's rotational speed, more than a year in advance. As far as the current acceleration has gone, the thinking is that it's likely something that's going on in the Earth's core, but it's really not clearly understood. So yeah, we have these kind of patterns and cycles that are quite well understood. But then, yeah, over the top of that, we have this sort of uncertainty and these little accelerations and decelerations, and those are the ones that are harder to explain and harder to pin down exactly what is causing those. Yeah.
And Earth's core is molten, correct?
That's right. So this is movement of Earth's molten core. Yeah.
It's movement in a fluid, so it's very complicated. So and there's a contributor to Time and Date who is studying this, yes, in Russia. The person in Russia.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we've been talking for the past few years with Dr. Leonid Zotov, who is at Moscow State University, he's one of the relatively few scientists in the world who are really studying this and really trying to come up with ideas and explanations and theories for the variability in Earth's rotation. I mean, it's science, so of course there's a lot of ideas and a lot of theories. The next step is to really find out which theory is doing the best job or making the best predictions as to what Earth's rotational speed is going to be doing in the future.
And so since 1972, since we've been using atomic clocks for timekeeping, we've had 27 positive leap seconds. Then since 2016, we've had no leap seconds. And now here in 2025 or perhaps 2026, we might need a negative leap second. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so this kind of burst of speed that we've seen from the Earth, really since 2016, it has meant that our clocks and watches have started to fall behind the Earth's rotation. So, we have this the rule that governs when leap seconds should be added or subtracted. It's trying to keep these two time scales within a second of each other. So our UTC time, our civil time, and this UT1 time scale, which is solar time, or based on Earth's rotation. So after this acceleration we've seen, UT1 is getting a little bit ahead of UTC. So in other words, the Earth's rotation is really starting to get ahead of our clocks and watches. So the way to bring them back into balance is not adding a second to our clocks and watches, but it's actually taking a second away. It's giving our clocks and watches one less second to tick through, and that sort of catches it up to the Earth's rotation. That's what a negative leap second is. It's just skipping a second, jumping over a second, or having a minute with 59 seconds in it. So we're trying to keep these two timescales within 1 second of each other. At the moment, then UT1, this solar timescale, it's ahead of UTC, but at the moment it's only by about 0.1 seconds. So we're not quite at that. We're not quite approaching the 1 second difference yet. But if Earth was to continue its fast rotation for a few more years, then a negative leap second could then start to become a real possibility.
Okay, so we're not poised on the edge of having one, but if Earth's spin keeps speeding up, that we might. So, and you mentioned to me that there might be potential problems with adding a negative leap second, taking away a second from our official timekeeping.
Yeah. So, leap seconds are potentially problematic. It can be a challenge to get everyone in the world to add a second to their clocks and watches at the same time. It can be even more of a challenge to get the whole world to skip a second at the same time. Back in 2021, I was talking with Dennis McCarthy, who is the former director of time at the United States Naval Observatory, and he made the comment that a lot of current software that we use was designed with positive leap seconds in mind. It was designed with the ability to add a second to the clock, but it wasn't so much designed with a negative leap second in mind, or having the ability to skip a second, kind of because it was just generally felt that a negative leap second was never going to happen. So, if a negative leap second, was to happen, it could potentially be problematic. And one thing this has done is it has given a bit of an impetus to discussions going on about potential ways to improve the system of leap seconds. This.
Yes, because didn't you tell me that there's a suggestion to abolish leap seconds?
Yeah, well, it's not a suggestion to abolish leap seconds altogether, but it's a way round the difficulty of having these 1 second jumps. So at the moment, the rule is that UTC, or civil time, should stay within 1 second of solar time, UT1, which is based on Earth's rotation. So a current proposal that is being discussed by international organizations like the International Bureau of Weights and Measures and the International Telecommunication Union. One proposal is to increase this tolerance from 1 second up to, say, 100 seconds, that the two timescales could diverge by up to 100 seconds. If this happened, it would give us at least a century where we wouldn't have to make any adjustments to civil time, wouldn't have to make any changes to our clocks and watches. And another sort of benefit of this would be that it would kind of pass the problem on to a kind of a future generation of scientists and technical people, because it is a problem that does need addressing in some form. I mean, we do have to bridge the difference somehow between atomic time, which is just ticking away at this relentless steady pace, and solar time, which is dependent on unpredictable variations in Earth's rotational speed.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. So we just pass it on to the next group of scientists who come along a century from now.
Right. That in a way it does. Yes, it does sort of pass the problem on to the next generation. Yes.
I bet they'll be able to handle it. Because isn't it amazing that people went through all of history doing some way of, marking time, because marking time has been one of the big features of human civilization. I mean, we have Machu Picchu and Stonehenge and all of the places where people were trying to mark time. And now in our culture, we've gotten it down to where we're marking the milliseconds.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, our culture has finally got to a place with atomic clocks where we're actually able to measure time more accurately than the Earth can with its rotational speed. Because yeah, in a way, it's still remarkable to think that until we had atomic clocks, we didn't have clocks that could beat the Earth's really quite steady, daily rotation in terms of timekeeping. So it's taken us a long time to become better than the Earth at timekeeping.
That was Graham Jones of timeanddate.com. He told me that we don't know when this current speed up of the Earth will end and our planet will go back to slowing down and needing leap seconds again. We invite you to visit us on YouTube and watch our earlier interview with Graham that goes into more depth about the speed up. The link is in the post description. One Earth, one sky, EarthSky.